Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of Beyond the Arc. I'm Talia Goodman here with Genesis Bryant, and we got a lot to break down today. It's been about a week since we talked to you last. Right now, disclaimer, it is Thursday afternoon. It is before the Hallmark games of the day, so we can't talk about those with you, unfortunately. But we do have a fun guest joining us later on in the show in a little bit, who's going to talk about a great start to their season. And that's Carla Berube from Princeton, the head coach there. They're 2-0 with wins over Georgia Tech, Villanova. They had to work for them, but they came out with the 2 road wins. So we talked to her a little bit about that, and we'll tie into that in a minute. And then there's just a lot going on. Like it's been a fun week and a half of hoops, right, Genesis?
Oh man, it's been amazing. I mean, November, you would think it's kind of like the lesser competition, but it's been some heavy hitters these first couple of weeks, so I'm excited.
I will say I've been staying up much too late watching basketball. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but that UCLA Oklahoma game, I'm in Eastern time. That started past 10:30 p.m. That's my bedtime, guys. I wanted to go to sleep, but I pulled through. I stayed awake. Even, the Cal game that started super
Mhm.
late. Like, I'm staying awake for these. I'm dedicated. This is some good basketball.
And you are dedicated, yes, you are, because I watched the games after they're posted because I'm on Eastern time too. So 10 p.m. is just too late for start for me, but I gotta give it to you. You are dedicated to watch it live.
It's worth it. It was worth it to see that game, and we'll dive into that in a little bit. But, and we've started our shows with our mid-major spotlight. So I think we should do that today and send it over. We had the chance to talk to head coach of Princeton, Carla Berube, about their awesome start to the year. So we're going to toss it to that interview. All right, now we will welcome in our guest of the week, Princeton head coach Carla Berube. How are you doing, Carla?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a heck of a week for you, right? You start off the season with, and we talked about this on Ivy League Media Day. You had a tough schedule heading in, right? 2 tough games
Mhm.
to start off the season. Got Madison St. Rose back for the year and in some tough positions. How would you grade your first 2 games, your first 2 wins of the year?
Yeah, I'm happy. Coming out with two victories into yeah, really big games against quality opponents. Right, an ACC opponent and then a Big East opponent, and both on the road. So yeah, we certainly made it really exciting. Tough 3 quarters, and then we sort of just explode in the fourth. I guess it's the best quarter to be playing at your best, but yeah, happy to be 2-0 and heading into a tough game at Maryland on Sunday.
Yeah, coach, you had 13 turnovers versus Georgia Tech and 11 versus Villanova. What has been the key to taking care of the possession so far this year?
Yeah, you just have to yeah, value the basketball, value each possession. You're always looking to get a quality shot on every time you're on the offensive end. Yeah, I think just having some experienced players getting the bulk of our minutes, I think has a lot to do with like just taking care of it. Um, yeah, I think just able to kind of fuel our offense from our defense, so that we are getting some great shots. I think that's part of the reason why maybe our turnovers are low, just being yeah, smart with the basketball.
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about Madison St. Rose coming back this season, and obviously that is humongous for you guys. But I want to talk about Fadima Tall because she has been so impressive to start this season off, right? Tell me a little bit about what she brings to not only the game, but to your program.
Yeah, Fatima is I mean if you look at her, you're not like, wow, this is a double six steals. I mean, the things that she can do, we call her a ball hawk. She just is around the basketball, creating turnovers, just snatching it like from from the opponent. I think she is always like jump balls. She's always got her hands on balls, creating those turnovers, and she's playing our five right now. We call her a 4B because she doesn't want to be called a center because she certainly is not a center. But she's able to stretch the floor, right? She can shoot the three. She can put the ball on the floor and get by. And she's just like physically strong, physically gifted, that she can absorb contact and still finish at the rim. And yeah, and there's just like a toughness about her too. And I think she's just emerging as a strong leader too. So she's really stepped up her game quite a bit from last season.
Yeah, and I know it's early, but what have you learned from your team so far this year?
That they're resilient. We had travel troubles getting to Georgia Tech. We were,
I saw the video on Twitter.
yeah, we were, sitting in Newark Airport, or either on the plane or in the airport for almost like a 12-hour delay. And we didn't hit the pillow until 3 a.m. on Sunday morning to play at 2 p.m. So, in not for 1 second, as a team, like just they brought just a great attitude about it. Like they didn't bring them down. They weren't complaining. And then they were able to just come out and really play connected basketball. I think that's what I'm happiest to see, is that they play with a great connection, a togetherness, and that like a toughness too, that they can, weather some challenges and still like put together a good 40 minutes of basketball. I think you don't want to be playing your best basketball in early November. So we know that there's much more ahead, but it's been a great start. And we had to bus back from Atlanta to New Jersey. So, I think, being able to go into Villanova last night and to get that win. And yeah, I just think there's toughness and togetherness and connection, and they love playing together. And down 14 yesterday, it didn't make a difference. They were still going to fight to the very end.
So what did you guys do in the airport when you're going through all those delays? What did you do to kill the time?
I'm sure they made a lot of TikToks. I might have seen a couple of them being created.
Were you in them?
I definitely not. No, no, they don't want that. They're not going to get many likes that way. I think that, like, as Princeton students, I think they spent their time wisely too. Like I know they got a lot of work done. Definitely on that bus ride back on Monday when they were missing class, they really had to, just focus in and get some work done. We ate, for as the coaches, we were watching film, getting
Mhm.
prepared and doing scouts and of the next opponents and things like that. And we also had chances to watch film with them too. Like, hey, Sky Belker, come sit over here. Let's watch some film of, of a practice or something. Or here's your guarding at Georgia Tech. Like, let's watch a little bit more of her. And so I think we, used it wisely. But also I think they had fun. So I think it was a balance of both.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that tweet and I immediately was like, oh my goodness. Like I didn't realize, like it didn't really clock to me. Like I'm planning trips and I'm like, oh, I'm probably gonna get stuck in the airport, but it doesn't clock to me that like women's basketball teams are suffering from this now too, and like how hard that makes it. And I know your kids probably didn't get a lot of sleep that night and were able to come through with the win, which is impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they're also college kids, right? Like, they're just some nights you just don't get as much sleep as you want. So, but they certainly were snoozing on the bus the next day. So, yeah.
Gotcha. A little fun question. You had a great career at UConn. So is there any player on your team that kind of reminds you of any aspect of yourself when you played?
Oh, great question. On my team right now, I think they're way more skilled and gifted and athletic and you name it. I do, let me think. I think it was like just like a good role player. And I think maybe like some of the players that come off my bench, like a Taylor Charles or a Emily Edie, that just know their role and play to the best of their ability. I was surrounded by, Rebecca Lobo and Nikisha Sales and like um Jen Rosati, who were like, national players of the year, like unbelievable talent. But I knew that like, it was important the role that I had. Sometimes I was guarding one of the other team's best players, or just needed to shoot when I was open, or whatever it was, get 5 rebounds a game. I took those to heart, and wanted to do whatever I could to help us win games and win championships. So I think, yeah, just the role players that I have on my squad remind me of my role.
Carla, I just got to give you and your program some credit here because we on this podcast, we're a big fan of upsets. We talk about them all the time, and I tweet out upsets all the time. And when you guys beat a big team, it's not an upset. It's not an upset to me. I don't think it's an upset to anyone because, like, it's the expectation, right? It's what you've secured as the expectation for your program to get an at-large bid to the tournament if you need it, to win these games, to pull through even when you are down 14 points. Like, I just want to give you and your program props for setting that standard because I really don't like maybe some other Ivy League teams, maybe a lot of mid-majors. I don't consider it an upset when you're on the road and you're beating a Georgia Tech and a Villanova, and I think that's really cool.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that the program has been built. I walked into a great program when I got here 7 years ago, and we're always trying to play a really tough schedule during the regular season, right? Our non-conference, and you keep playing those games, you get just more confident, you get more just that experience of what it feels like in those games, so that whether it happens in the NCAA tournament where we were able to beat Kentucky or be able to beat NC State, like we know what that feels like. We know how it is to play maybe a more athletic team, or more talented team, and that you have to stay connected, and you have to outwork them every facet. You have to you got to bring your A game, and you got to be ready. So to have that experience during the regular season, I think has been key to some of those those upsets.
And switching gears, so you play Maryland. What are some focus points in practice leading up to your game versus Maryland?
Yeah, so we just played last night, so we have today off, but the next 2 days, I mean, they're strong, they're athletic, they put up a ton of points, they're just like relentless, getting after it. So we got to do a great job on the boards. We got to do a great job in transition. They've picked up some good transfers that we know, and yeah, we've just got to just stay composed. They can make you really turn the ball over. So you've just got to be smart and strong with your passes. They try to speed you up with some of their presses. And yeah, got to take care of the ball. You got to get a good shot on every possession. And yeah, and take away, their strengths. They're a good 3-point shooting team, but they also can pound it inside and with their size. So yeah, just got to be balanced, got to be ready, and poised to put a full 40 minutes together. I'm not sure we can wait to the fourth quarter to really come alive on Sunday. We've got to put 40 minutes of Princeton basketball together.
I do a daily watch list every day of the games that I want to keep an eye on, and I color code it. And red means must watch. You gotta sit down and watch
Uh-huh.
the game. And I can tell you right now that game is gonna be
The
in red
red?
on
Oh, I
my
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I got
Yeah.
one more for you, and then I'll let you go. I want to know something that people don't know about you. Maybe your kids know it, but people, me, Genesis, the general public, something fun about you that maybe people don't know yet. I know you've been there a while, but if there's still some level of secrecy,
What is there to tell you? I don't know.
what do you do like
I
outside of basketball? What's your
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, I just had a big birthday this year, so I had a really fun it was a milestone birthday. I'm not gonna tell you which one, but
you don't get it?
um but we had a big party at my house, and had a big hibachi in the backyard, and did one of my favorite things, which is karaoke. So we had like a pretty cool karaoke setup, and so the people that came to the party, it was please pick a song. I'd love to do a duet. So I do love to karaoke. I wouldn't say my voice is very good, but
What's
just
your
like the
song?
fun of what's that?
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh gosh, I have a few, but they like I don't listen to a lot of country. I think in the summer maybe a little bit more than not, but But there's an older country song by now I'm looking Jody Messina. It's called "I'm All Right." So that's my go-to. It's really old. You probably wouldn't even know it, but that's my go-to. I do like a little Michael Jackson. I can do. Yeah. So I guess that's if you had to know something about me.
Oh,
But
we gotta,
the people around me know that about me.
we gotta get you on a microphone. My karaoke song is also country, but a little
Oh,
new. I'm Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood. That's my
oh,
my.
good one.
It's a fun karaoke song, but
I would do it with you if we were
let's
ever together. So
have to. Now we have to do it. I'll get a karaoke station set up next time I'm at Princeton. I'm
all
holding you
right.
to it. Uh,
Genesis, what's yours? You got
Ooh, mine. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, Coach, putting me on the spot. I would say, I would say "When I See You" by Fantasia,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's my
Little
go-to.
teaser. Okay.
do a little
All
trio.
right, guys.
We'll
Let's
all
do
get
it.
we'll all get the trio. Well,
Let's
we
do
really
it.
appreciate you joining us. We're very excited to watch you play Maryland and see how you continue this season. I know you'll do great things. You got a great group, so we really.
Great. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, Princeton off to a very hot start. We'll see how they do. They play Maryland. That's a really tough game, obviously. So we'll see how they fare in that one. While we're talking about it, how do you think that one's gonna go?
Um, I'm curious to see how Princeton comes in on the road game. Their previous road games, they had struggle a little bit to start. They can't do this with a Maryland team as deep as they are and how they love to have high scoring games. If you come in not ready to play at Maryland, that game will get out of hand quickly. So I'm curious to see how they start. I think their start, Princeton's start, will kind of dictate the flow of the game.
You know, it's interesting because the other day I was watching Maryland versus Georgetown, and Georgetown started off super hot, and Maryland came in that fourth quarter and just absolutely dominated after being, down by double digits. Really impressive finish. I think the key for me in this one is honestly the injury list for Maryland because it was
Mhm.
pretty deep in their game against Georgetown. They had three out, but three really important players out.
Right.
And I'm not expecting Bree McDaniel to come back in this one. But I'm curious when Kayleen Smythe going to come back. Mer McLean was out. I don't know what her status is. So I think that'll dictate some of it as well if they're maybe playing a little bit more shorthanded.
For sure. I mean, injury is always that injury bug. You never know when it's going to come. You hope it doesn't come to your team in the year, but most likely it will. So that's what they're struggling with this year. But I also see it as opportunity for other players to get involved, get more minutes, be able to have some development early in the year, and that could help them in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll be a game to watch. We'll talk about some more of those later, but for now, I want to talk about some of the things we have seen, some of the things we've been able to watch over the last week that have been really fun. So we got a superlative section for everyone today, and I thought long and hard about these. Don't worry, I thought long and hard. We had plenty of options. I went down the list. We're gonna start with my favorite section of the superlatives, which is best performance of the week. And number one, I feel like it's undisputed. I don't know if anyone can fight with this. It was Hannah Hidalgo against Akron, 44 points, 16 steals. That is a record for NCAA women's
Hmm.
basketball. Oh my goodness, 9 rebounds. She almost had the triple double. I was waiting for it, didn't get it, but this was just in 28 minutes of play. Incredible performance, right? Like, got to be front runner for National Player of the Year.
I mean, what she is doing so far, I mean, the first three games, she's averaging 34 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 steals. I mean, she could get a quadruple double. I wouldn't be surprised if she got a quadruple double
Yeah.
this season. I mean, she's playing unbelievable these first three games. And with the 16 steals, what I think is a really good stat, she had one foul.
Right.
So she was stealing the ball. She was being active on defense without fouling. And that is very hard to do, a very hard thing to do, especially at this level. And I just think my only question is, can she sustain this throughout the season? I mean, she's playing
Oh,
ridiculous
yeah.
right now, but it's only been 3 games. My worry and question for Notre Dame is, can she sustain this level of performance throughout the year?
You know what? I think she can. My question is about her surroundings, right? They don't have a
Right.
lot of depth on that team.
Hmm.
Obviously, you get two key players back from injury, although I think one of them was playing limited minutes last night. So I'm interested to
Hmm.
see what that return is like. But I think I don't have any question about Hannah Hidalgo. Like I honestly, I think she might be better this year. And I wasn't surprised at this performance because I think she could do this all along. Obviously, just had
Hmm.
to share the ball a little bit more last year. Now, this is her team. Like this, she
Yeah.
runs this show and she's gonna keep running this show. So it's more about the supporting cast for me, and it's do they have enough to Hannah Hidalgo is gonna score her. She's gonna do what she does, but she can't be
Right.
the only one doing what she does.
Yeah, because you make a very good point because if you're one person is doing it all, you kind of let them get there. So as long as everyone else, because you can't score 80 points by yourself. So it's like as long as everyone else is kind of being shut down, then it's like, okay, she get hers, but we still come out with the win. So that's a very good point you made. I would like to see our supporting cast kind of getting more involved, taking more shots, being more playmakers. And I think if that can happen, I think Notre Dame might have a scary chance of being at Final Four.
Yeah, no, and they've done like the supporting cast has done well so far, but they also haven't played any real like legitimate competition who's gonna really toughen them up. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
these were
Yeah.
fairly easy games for them
Yeah.
got to score. But they have a big one this weekend. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But just
Mhm.
to mention it now, they play Michigan, which I think is a really good litmus test for them to see where they're at
Mhm.
against a Michigan team that I do think is a little bit deeper, has a lot of young talent. They don't just have one star. They got plenty of players and plenty of options, whether it's, passing it down to Ashley Sopelkinich in the post. Like you got Silas Swords, you got Olivia Olson. So I think that'll be a really good test for them this weekend.
Oh, for sure. And Michigan is younger. I mean, they're sophomores now, so they have a year of experience under their belt as freshmen. And I mean, they did great in the Big Ten last season. I mean, even to go to the tournament. And if I'm not mistaken, they played Notre Dame in the tournament. Notre Dame beat them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this rematch. I think this would be Michigan has definitely some fire under them to try to play them again.
That's a fun game, absolutely. Another key performance that I think got overshadowed by Hannah Hidalgo last night. But we had two 40 pieces in women's college basketball last night. The other one also doesn't necessarily surprise me. It's Audie Crooks from Iowa State, and she's just a beast. Like her freshman year, everyone was talking about her and what she can do. Her sophomore year maybe slowed down a little bit, right? I mean, the team wasn't necessarily as good. They just weren't clicking for whatever reason.
Mhm.
I think they're back this year. I think they're going to be really good. They've had the
Yeah.
talent. I think they're putting the chemistry together, and Audie Crooks is a big reason why.
And Audie, she just does the simple good. Like she's not flashy, she's not over dribbling. It's skills and positioning with her. And her teammates have great awareness of her and great passes. I mean, how many over the tops did she get during that game? I mean, it was beautiful on both ends. And then she has the longest streak in double figures with 71 straight games. That
Wow.
is very hard to do at this level. I mean, and that just shows her dominance within the paint. And she did that in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
43 points in 20 minutes.
I've never heard of a player like I haven't done my research clearly, but I've never heard of a player doing that before in 20 minutes. That's ridiculous. And obviously, similar to Notre Dame, the level of competition you're playing, you can talk about, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you're a player who's able to do that, you're positioned well heading forward in the
Hmm.
season and certainly make the best performance list. I got one more that I want to. It was a little bit earlier. It was not last night. It was close to a week ago now, I think. But that's Liv McGill at Florida. She went absolutely bananas against Chattanooga, who's not like the other two teams we've talked about,
Hmm.
where Chattanooga was favored to win their conference this year. They were picked
Yeah.
to win their conference, and Liv McGill is able to go for 38 points, 6 of 11 from three, 8 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 steals. Oh my goodness, she is just ridiculous.
Another quadruple watch. I am not surprised if she gets a
But
y'all know what I'm trying to
I got you.
say.
I got you.
I would not be surprised if she did it as well. I mean, she's a sophomore. I think people are forgetting that part of it. So, I mean, her freshman year averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, a 38 burger. But I think what makes her so dangerous is she is elite in the pick and roll, not only as a scorer, but as a passer as well. And not only did she score in the pick and roll, but she created her own shot.
Mhm.
That's rare that you have players that could do both. It's either one is like one or the other, but she does both at a high level. And I think that's what makes her stand out among one of the best scorers in the nation right now.
No, I mean she can do it all, and it's huge that she is at Florida, that she stayed at Florida, that she's continuing to play for the Gators, because that just raises their ceiling this much higher, right? They're a team that's really interesting to me this year in the scheme of the SEC. I think they have the potential to be a tournament team this year,
Mhm.
and it's largely because of her, like what she's able to do and take over in these kind of games. Like I saw people talking about, yeah, well, she did it against Chattanooga. I'm sorry, like Chattanooga's a good team. Like that's a
They are.
well-coached good team. That's not
Hmm.
someone that we're maybe talking about on a day-to-day basis, but they're a team that could earn a bid to the tournament, right?
Hmm.
So if you're able to do that against the Chattanooga, I'm just excited to see how she continues to grow throughout the season. Uh,
Hmm.
but I want to talk about a few more teams. We're moving on to our next superlative, which is best team we've watched so far. And this is not,
Yeah.
necessarily who we think is going to win the national title. It's been a week and a half. I don't want to make those kind of predictions just yet, but
Right.
based on the competition we've seen, and these are, two teams that I want to preface have played real competition because there are teams that
Hmm.
we haven't necessarily seen do that yet. So these are
Right.
two teams that have played other tough teams and have proven that they can stick with them, right?
Hmm.
I'll let you start off. Who's your best team of the week?
I say UConn. And we talked about this earlier, but their depth. Like, you
Yep.
don't see anyone with these crazy 40-point, 30-point games, but it's 17, 17, 10, 9, 9. Like, everyone is contributing in some way. And I think that's what makes them scary. Because at any given night, anyone can go off for 20 to 25. And when you're scouting a team like that, it's hard because all of them can be number one scorers. I mean, their efficiency also. They're not shooting volume shots. They are consistent with their efficiency. That 90, 50, 40 range, a lot of them are dwelling in between there in some way of capacity. So for me, I think UConn is the front runner just because of the competition they play and also the dominance that they've shown in that competition. To me, they are the best team of the week.
No, I mean I agree with you, and I think to your first point, it's the depth for me. It's
Hmm.
I do takeaways every single night, and I put in the key stat lines of the night, and you rarely see a UConn player in there, which is a good thing. You want
Yeah.
that. You want that balance. Like that's what wins you championships when you have that
Right.
balance and depth. And I think they have more of it than anybody. And now that they're getting
Mhm.
fully healthy, their freshmen are healthy now, and they're coming in. I think the ceiling is so high. I'm excited to see they're going to play Ohio State this weekend, which I think is another
Mhm.
really good test for them.
Mhm.
So that'll be interesting just to see them go against kind of a new look Ohio State team and see what that looks like. But they played
Mhm.
two ACC teams, and there was not a doubt in my mind at any point in the game that they were gonna even make it a close game, right? Like
Right.
it seems like they are, far and away passing the eye test for best team right now. But best resume is kind of a different story for me, and that's where I want to go to UCLA because I think they now have the best resume win. They did pass the eye test. I think there are some things that they maybe still need to work on, but
Mhm.
I want to bring it back to that depth because this is what those two teams have in what's the word I'm looking for? In common.
In common. Yeah, there you go.
That's what they have in common is they both have depth. They have that like anyone can come in and dominate. It doesn't have to be Lauren Betts every game. They have players who can do that. And we saw it when they played Oklahoma and it was the Utah transfer, Gianna Neepkins. And oh my gosh, like we knew what she could do. She's a three-level scorer. She can take over games. And I don't know if I necessarily expected her to do that at UCLA with all of the talent they have surrounding her, but she did. Like she was able to, I wouldn't say single-handedly win that by any means,
Mhm.
but she came in and she made an impact, and I think she is a considerable reason why they were able to win that.
Oh, for sure. And I think with her scoring ability, she takes pressure off of Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice, who had to carry a lot of the load last year, but with Gianna and Jaquez just playing so great early, it's making them kind of get in that depth conversation where you have 4 to 5 players that could go for 20 at any given night. And that would make you a dangerous team now, but also in March Madness. And I see the way that they beat Oklahoma. Like it was close at some points, but they showed that they were the better team. I mean, just their defensive presence. I mean, it was hard for Oklahoma to get good looks. Like they were hand to face, they were guarding them on the perimeter, on the inside. I mean, nothing was easy. And I think that's the sign of a good team, especially in November.
Yeah, and Oklahoma's a really good team. Obviously, Aaliyah Chavez, the freshman, had a rough night, but came back, 2 days later, had 29 points or made however many three-pointers last night against Kansas City. So she's gonna be just fine. It'll take her some time to adjust. It wasn't her best performance, but like that just showed what UCLA is able to do in that regard. And I want to shout out Jaquez for what she's been able to do. She's been a really, really big piece for them. And Charlize Ledger-Walker, who didn't play
Mm-hmm.
last year due to injury, transferred from Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
And she has been like an elite playmaker for them so far.
Yeah. I agree. UCLA, as long as they don't get hit by the injury bug, and as long as they just stay together, they I have high hopes for them, high ceilings.
Absolutely. Next, superlative, and this is the section of the podcast where we've come to just admit that I'm wrong about something. This is where where we just admit I was wrong. People were right. Well, we don't know yet, but based on what we've seen so far, it looks like I very much underestimated a particular team. And if you are a women's basketball fan, you probably know who I'm talking about without me even saying it because I made a public apology. But that team is USC, who obviously
Mhm.
was able to beat NC State a little bit ago. Jazzy Davidson, we know she's phenomenal. I've known she's phenomenal.
Mhm.
Didn't know about the surrounding talent, but obviously they were able to pull through, and Jazzy Davidson was able to take over in more ways than one in that game. And it wasn't even necessarily her offensive performance, although she made some
Mhm.
big, big, big time shots, especially that game winner. For me, it's what she's able to do on the defensive end.
That's actually a really good skill to have as a freshman because I think that's one of the hardest transitions is guarding, good players at this level. So the fact that she is doing it on both ends as a freshman, I mean, it shows why she was a number one freshman in the country and why USC, I think I just saw a stat recently, they've had the top three number one
Yeah.
high school recruits in the last 4 years. So whatever their recruiting is like is phenomenal. They need to keep doing it, whatever the selling point is. But I mean, it's remarkable what Jazzy is doing as a freshman so far in this early part of the season. I like to see how she continues to grow as more people start scouting her and
Yeah.
throw different things and reads at her, how she develops from that. But so far, I mean, she was the reason why they got over that home with NC State in the last seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really close game. So I want to give credit
Mhm.
to NC State too.
Yeah.
But I think London Jones is someone who I maybe underestimated a little bit. I thought she was, and obviously it's been a couple games. We'll see how the season unfolds.
Mhm.
But I thought she'd maybe be a little streakier to start the season, and she wasn't. She was pretty lights out.
Mhm.
She helps in more ways
Mhm.
than one. She's a big get for them. Looking forward to seeing Cara Dunn when she's not in foul trouble. I think that'll be fun. Uh,
Yeah.
and it was just a really overall competitive game and
Mhm.
definitely raised my stock in USC. I don't know what your thought was on them before the season started, but they were just such a wild card to me. I didn't know where to put
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely put question mark by USC, so we're in the same boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what they're able to do. Obviously, we'll talk about we're going through all of these games in a little bit, but to bring it up, they got a big one this weekend, South Carolina.
Mhm.
So that'll be probably the game of the week to watch, and we'll see how Jazzy Davidson fares against the South Carolina Gamecocks team that is very experienced, very well coached as well. Both of them are,
Mhm.
so that'll be a fun one. Now a team that I was maybe a little too high on, or maybe overreacted to a little too early here. Uh, Vanderbilt is kind of who I'm going with here, and that's solely because I moved him up a few spots after they beat Cal in
Mhm.
Paris. And I've watched the last few Cal games, and I don't know if that is as much of a quality win as I anticipated it would be. I have
Mhm.
some concerns with Cal right now, so I maybe overvalued that win. And, Vanderbilt just managed to win by 10 last night over
Mhm.
Austin P. Obviously, so early, plenty of time, and I might be overreacting now both ways, but it's just like a little asterisk in my mind of like, oh, I'm going to keep an eye on that moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think as the season goes on and just the surrounding cast around Michaela, I think they have to continue to step them. They have certain players have, but I think the thing that I was most concerned about is they had 20 turnovers versus Austin P.
Yeah.
So you really don't want to have 20 turnovers against anyone, I mean, especially in SEC play and when you start getting to March Madness. But this early in the season, maybe we credit that to still learning each other, still building chemistry. But I'd like to see what their turnover count continues to progress as the season goes on.
And similarly to Hannah Hidalgo, Michaela Blake's is going to get hers. She is. She's gonna every game she's going to get hers.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a similar situation. It's about the supporting cast. It's about how freshman Aubrey Galvin moves forward in her year. It's about what they're able to provide to help Michaela, right? And so I think
Right.
that's kind of the story of the year with them. So I'm like cautiously hopeful, but also I just don't know. I'm still feeling it out because that Cal win was obviously good, but then Cal has been struggling a little bit lately. It's an interesting dynamic that these are the things that happen early in the year, right? You maybe get
Right.
back to one win and then you got to wait a little bit to see how it evens out. But those are our superlatives. Unless you
Mhm.
got anything else that I maybe missed there, those are the superlatives. But there are
Yep.
things that I couldn't fit in as much as I tried that I want to talk about a little bit just because it's been a while since we've talked and I want to talk to you, Genesis, about these things. I want to hear what you got to say. Um, First one, Texas absolutely dominates Richmond, who was top
Mhm.
25 team at the time. Texas, I don't know what they are in the AP. I can't, maybe three in AP, somewhere around there. They're two in mine.
Um,
Uh,
mhm.
and they absolutely dominated Richmond.
Mhm.
What were your thoughts on that game?
I think Texas was just too much. I mean, their size, and like I said, Vic is a defensive coach.
Yeah.
So the way that they were like, I would compare their defense to like a UCLA. They weren't getting easy looks. They were getting contested at the basket. They were guarding the three-point line very well. I mean, Madison, she's playing great while only averaging 27 minutes with the numbers that she's putting up right now.
She's a
Kind
killer.
of similar to a UConn of not having to play a 40-minute span, but being able to take breaks, and that's going to really help you down the stretch, save those legs for SEC play. So I think Texas is just a very dominant team right now. I mean, I have them early, going to the Final Four. We'll see how the year plays out, but they're just allowing a defensive end. I think that's what sets them apart.
And I'm excited for when they get Ashton Judd back because they did this without her and she can shoot the ball. And that's kind of what they desperately need to make them this like fully
Mhm.
complete team in my eyes is someone who can shoot it. And freshman Aaliyah Crump can. Her shot wasn't even falling and they still won by, like 30 points or so. But when her shot starts falling, when they get Ashton Judd back, who can, stretch the floor, shoot the ball, um, I'm excited to see how that helps them in more ways than one because I think right now teams know that they don't have a ton of shooters and so you can kind of
Yeah.
game plan for that and when they get those
Mhm.
shooters going it kind of unlocks a different dynamic so I'm excited to see when that happens. Definitely impressed with them.
Mhm.
One team that I don't know if necessarily surprised me is the right word, but has been not, I don't know how to phrase this, like has not impressed me so far.
Yeah.
I think as the year goes by, they'll get better. This is a young team, a new team.
Mhm.
But Indiana, and I'm here in Bloomington, I've watched their last couple games. A few days ago, they trailed by 7 at half to UIC. They ended up pulling out the win just because Shea Chesky went nuts, had 35 points, 25 in that second half, which like you are happy to see, but can she do that every night? I don't think so.
Mhm.
And then the Marshall game that I was at a few days ago, and Marshall's a very good defensive team. They can force some turnovers, but they only ended up winning by I think 6 points in that game, and it
Mhm.
was close the almost the whole way through. They had a little run
Yeah.
in that third quarter, but then Marshall hit some threes at the end there.
Mhm.
And Indiana has just had trouble scoring. They've had trouble scoring, and in that game, especially against Marshall, too many turnovers, 28 turnovers. That's like an outlandish number. You've got to cut that down.
Yeah, I mean, they lost a lot, and maybe I credit that a little bit of trying to learn this new team and new identity. I mean, when you lose Chloe, Sydney, Garzon, and then Mackenzie as a grad manager, she was
Right.
on staff. That's a lot. That was kind of like the bulk of like what got this Indiana team in the national conversation. So I think they're trying to find their identity. Shay, a great player. I mean, when they got her from Penn State last year, she didn't have to do as much because she had a lot of people around her. But now she got to take on a big load. And like you said, I'll be interested to see how she kind of adapts to that load. I mean, she did it at Penn State as well, but not the level I feel like she has to do this year. So I'm curious to see how she kind of finds her own way throughout the season.
Yeah, and I think Xenia Soko Guman is really the key
Mhm.
for them. Like she's a great post player. Didn't play a ton last year at UCLA just because there was so much in front of her. But really has a big opportunity this year. And she's been someone I've been impressed with. I'm just waiting for this group to really click. And they had a lot of opportunities They just need to convert them, right? Like it just comes
Right.
down to that and reducing those turnovers, which I'm sure Terry Morin will be getting on them for. It's a tough year to be in the Big Ten. It's a really
Mm.
tough year to be in the Big Ten because you look at what everyone got from the portal. This was a
Hmm.
really big portal year, and
Yeah.
Indiana got some pieces, but I don't know if they got the caliber of what some of these
Mm.
top teams got. So this is a year that I think is maybe a middle year, a recalibration year, if you
Hmm.
will, before they bring in some really good recruits next season. So this is a year where I think they're a bubble tournament team maybe right now, but I think
Hmm.
they have room to improve, like a lot of
Yeah.
room to improve. And they got two talented freshmen who will get better as the season goes on.
Hmm.
Nevaeh Kathy is someone I've been very impressed with so far.
Yeah.
It's just a tough, like a shaky way to start your year.
Yeah, I agree. They're going through that. I don't want to say rebuilding, but just like recalibrate. I like that word, recalibration. Like just a process that when you lose a lot, that's going to always be that kind of process. And the answer is how quick can they adapt to it?
Yeah. And luckily, I mean, this weekend they got a fairly tough one against Florida State, but their non-conference schedule is not too daunting. So
Hmm.
hopefully, I have a feeling they might have done that on purpose. And so they have some time to figure it out before they get to conference play, which will be huge as you enter, the daunting Big Ten this year. But
Yeah.
another close call, but this one was between two Power Fives. I was there last night, Colorado, Louisville. It was a fun game. It was a lot closer than I expected. Colorado, also a very new, young team. I was really, really impressed with their fight.
Yeah. I mean, when you have new and young team, I think as coaches, there are those like cringing words. You don't want a new and you want a young team. But I think Michigan, I want to bring them up. They showed last year that sometimes it's to your advantage because what you don't know, you don't know. I
Exactly.
guess as freshmen, you're just playing a game of basketball. You don't know about teams and standings and RP. Like you don't know about those things. So I think that could play to Colorado's advantage this year with being so new and young.
I wanna use your words in a different way. What you don't know, you don't know. For is true
Hmm.
for other teams, right? Like they don't
Hmm.
know what you have when they're coming into that game. They'd only played one game before that. How do you
Hmm.
really game plan for a team like that? Who, like I want to shout out like a few of their transfers went really under
Hmm.
the radar.
Yeah.
I was one of them from URI. Had a really great game last night. And there were a few, and
Hmm.
I thought that they game planned that really well.
Hmm.
But Louisville had a very strong, fourth quarter as they have so far.
Hmm.
The story there, and we talked to Walls after the game. He's like, we got to figure out a way to get them going like that from the beginning, and that's true, absolutely. And they have a pretty tough schedule this year, so I'm interested
Hmm.
to see how they kind of move forward with that and get. They need to get their 3-point shot hitting
Yeah.
because it was not hitting last night, and they,
Hmm.
as he said, just kept shooting it. When that happens, you got to maybe change courses, but.
Hmm.
Very impressed with them. They also have some fun transfers. Skylar Jones from Arizona had a big night. Laura Ziegler
Hmm.
from St. Joseph's had a really big night, and she will
Yeah.
be really, really good for them this year. Pretty much everything they do is run through her. So.
Yeah, and I'm never really worried about Louisville. They're always in the conversation. I mean, with Jeff as your coach, you're always going to be in the conversation. So I think it's just growing pains, and they'll adjust, they'll adapt. So if they can get hit from three, though, I think that really makes them a scary team.
Genesis, what games were you at this week? I know you were at a couple. Where were you at?
So I went to local games. I went to the UGA on no no Florida State versus Nicholls State,
Okay.
which the final score Florida State put away in the fourth quarter, but Nicholls State was up like 12 in the first quarter. So that was an interesting game actually. There was definitely an upset watch and went to the UGA and Furman game earlier last week and Georgia did what they should have done. So it was closer. I want to be at closer games. So
Yeah.
hopefully these regional games a little bit closer. I'll definitely be going out and seeing for my own self and not through the camera.
Give me your scouting report on Florida State after that was today, right? Or was that yesterday? That was today.
Yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, yesterday.
Mm.
Tell me what you saw there. Like, what do you think Florida State? What's your evaluation of them so far?
I think Soleil was a great get from Texas A&M. She has been their leading point guard, leading scorer, facilitator, defensive, just athlete. I mean, the way she's getting steals. I think the question mark that I have for Florida State is they had a lot of turnovers
Yeah.
early, and they had a lot of turnovers in the UConn game as well. So with a new point guard and a new system, you're kind of learning as you go. But I would like to see Sydney Bowles get involved more. She's one of the older veterans, as you could say, on the Florida State team, only one of three returners. So I want to see her get more involved. She has a very good upside. I mean, her length and her height and her release point. Oh my goodness, like she releases way over her head. So I like to see her get more involved. But I think overall, I think they just got to grow more together. So more chemistry. I mean, when you have seven new players, which
Yeah.
a lot of people are going through, it's hard.
No, we
It's
were
hard with
talking about
chemistry.
Indiana, and now they play each
Yeah.
other, which is why I think it's such an interesting game because, like, these are two teams that are kind of in similar spots. They've lost maybe their stars. They're, like we said, not rebuilding, recalibrating. Um,
Yeah.
this is a different kind of year for them, and it's how they approach that. And so I think the theme, like, we didn't realize this, but I feel like the theme of today's episode is kind of these second half teams, teams that have struggled in the first halves of games
Yeah.
so far but have been able to pull it together in the second
Mhm.
half. Teams that are still figuring themselves out early on,
Yeah.
which I think it'll be really interesting to see
Mhm.
as they improve throughout the year. Before we go, games you got to watch this weekend. There's a lot of them. I'm going to be sat in front of my TV for a very, very long time watching a lot of games. Uh,
Mhm.
we're going to skip Friday, although there are a few good games, but we're going to go straight to Saturday and give you Notre Dame versus Michigan on NBC. Oh my goodness, am I excited for that one? We talked about it a little bit, but any chance to see Hannah Hidalgo on my screen playing some real competition, I'm taking it.
Me too. I would love to see this rematch and this battle. I think Michigan is going to come with some
Yeah.
fire, like I said. So I'll be interested to see how that comes out.
Absolutely. Next up, I best game of the week, maybe of the month, maybe of the year. I don't know. South Carolina, USC on Big Fox. Man, am I excited. I feel like for both of them, this is just like the best possible test. It's the battle of
Mhm.
who gets to be called USC, which I always get crushed because for me, it's Southern Cal. Southern Cal is just USC. South
Mhm.
Carolina is South Carolina. Like, that's just
Mhm.
what it is. But if South Carolina wins this game, maybe I'll reconsider. Maybe I'll call them USC.
Yeah, Asia Wilson, I remember she went on Twitter a while back and said they're the real USC. So I'll be interested to see how South Carolina, because those are ones that we haven't really talked about much because they haven't really played good competition yet. So I think this will be their first real test, and it's at USC, so road test. So I'm interested to
Although
see.
I will say, brief interlude. They played
Hmm.
Clemson, who was a good team and was able to hold them to, I don't know, I feel like they were in either the 50s or the 60s. I don't have it in front of me, but it was a low
Yeah.
scoring affair, not
Mhm.
South Carolina's best performance for sure. And of note, Maddie McDaniel is suspended, which I don't know if you
Yeah.
like that's kind of big for them.
Hmm.
Like with the limited depth that they have already. Like,
Hmm. That is really big and undisclosed. We don't know why, but I know when Coach Staley was asked, do you think she'll return next game? She said probably not. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on that. But like you said, their depth might play a factor into this game and then games to go on if this continues.
for sure. Now, another rematch that I'm really looking forward to, TCU at NC State. We got an NC State near every game, every week, which I think just shows you how tough their scheduling is
Mm-hmm.
more than anything. But this is the game last year where TCU really made a name for themselves and kind of shocked everyone and beat NC State. And I know NC State is motivated to get the win this year. So we'll see if they're
Mm-hmm.
able to do it. Olivia Miles will obviously have something to say about that. But yeah, I think it'll be a really good, fun matchup.
I mean, I'm ready for that one. I think that's Sunday at 1 p.m. That's
That
gonna be a good game. That's my circle game for sure.
perfect. And then last but not least, I'm bringing this one up because why do we have conference games on like mid-November? What like what when did this start? I don't know what's going on. Sunday 3 p.m. ESPN2, Louisville at Clemson, which is
Yeah.
actually a very fun game, but I'm just like I saw that a few weeks ago and was like, wait a minute, like what's going on here? Well, this feels early, right?
Definitely early. I know Big Ten usually don't start December, and they're like one of the first ones. I think SEC was always like the new year. So I am I'm interested though, because Clemson, they played a good game at South Carolina. So I'm interested to see how Louisville does at Clemson.
Yeah, that'll be, I think, maybe closer than some people think, but we'll
Mhm.
see how it goes. Those are four really good ones. There are more. We'll leave that to you to find them. You can find them on my Twitter if you want, but they're everywhere. We'll be sat and watching them, and obviously great having Carla Berube on to talk through Princeton today. More coming next week. There's always